Welcome to Cut Daisies and Unicorns, and it's a Trailer Friday, everybody. Trailer Friday. Now, the last week, it was a fluke, because all of our Trailer Fridays for this season, and I think even last season, have all been actually Fridays. It was just last week we turned Trailer Friday into Trailer Saturday.
And you know, we have navigated that season 6 is taking more than 10 weeks. But it's because of that summer schedule.
Well, it was a COVID week too.
That's true as well.
Yeah, that put us on a hold.
And so there was that, and quite frankly, I had last Friday, I grabbed my computer. It went through my head in the morning when I got in the car that I needed to do the edit. And we were in the middle of getting financing and thinking about an offer on a townhome. And that took over my day. And with what I was trying to get done, it totally just escaped my mind. And yeah,
it was your phone situation. That.
And then there was one of the things that I should have probably taken care of 3 years ago. I took care of, and the person who was trying to get a hold of me from Sprint/T-Mobile, hashtag not a sponsor.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though we now both have Sprint T-Mobile, because we've been on Sprint we were on Sprint before the merger, a couple of years. And
Yeah.
So maybe they should be a sponsor, but...
Well, I know I've paid them enough
sponsor.
money to probably build out an addition on our studio and hire a technician to take care of all the things.
Right.
Yeah. So, but that was a 2.5 to almost 3 hour conversation that finally, I gave up. I was on hold so long and was so hungry. I started driving towards home and then ordered pizza from the road to be able to pick up because hey, we've just sent you a disclosure. Please sign it. I'm supposed to sign it. Yeah, on the line where I'm and this is on my phone. Yeah. Oh, great. I'm glad I have a pencil here to be able to do this, and it needs to match your signature on your photo ID.
Nice.
So the photo ID where I actually got to use a pen and not my fingertip to try to sign my name. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
But what I was waiting for was their legal people to match, verify, so that everything that I had told them before. Yeah. I'm just glad. Yeah. Oh, jeepers. What a day. And so then I get a text from Phil.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, the audio's not up. Yeah. You're right. The audio's not up. The video's not up. There's nothing up. I mean, and I've done stuff where I've forgotten, and I'm still at the studio or whatever, and I just take care of it right there and upload it and get it all done, but that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the night I had something at night, so then I was like, well, if it gets done tonight, it gets done tonight. If not, and we turned it into a Trailer Saturday, everybody. So even though we were still saying Trailer Friday, it was a Trailer Saturday.
Yeah, it's true.
But you know what?
And I think for the record,
you guys are durable enough. You know what you can do with that.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good, everybody.
Well, the good news is, of the 2 people who watched on video the trailer, then 3 people watched the actual. I thought we'd get more traction on that one. Sacred History Review Reset Renew, not so much. People really like the Pegasus and Unicorns one. The pop quiz, episode 3 of season 6.
Yeah.
Pop quiz for Phil. The Dave Grohl review of there. Juneteenth, We Own This City. That got some good traction. Mental health awareness is really good And then we But
on audio, our last one actually has got a lot of, with the Sacred History review, reset, renew, like that got some good listenership. So
really,
yeah.
Like how many people listen?
28.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, you know what, and that's the thing. People probably do listen to the podcast as a listening agent. Candy for your ear holes.
Candy for the ear hole.
That's a play on Southern Comfort. Shut your pie hole.
Yeah, so yeah. But now you have something new. So on Sunday, I think it's a lot. There is some continuation of some of the things we have been talking about, but I think that there's also some new things as far as like memories.
Yeah.
And what do we do with them? And
yeah, and so if you want to take the trailer and you want to start doing a little bit of thought processes going on through your head, the question that I would ask you is, when you reminisce or when you have time and you're remembering, are you remembering memories that bring you joy, or are you remembering memories that are not joyful?
Right. Is the negative taking control?
Yeah.
Or is the positive taking control?
Yep.
Yeah.
Another thing our listeners could ask the question of is, what is your chapter? When is your season?
Yeah.
And so, like, do you have a title for the new chapter of where you're at right now, or are you closing out a chapter in the part of life that you're living out? Are you getting ready to start a new chapter?
Yeah. And I really enjoyed where you talked about actually bringing it to a close before you're trying to start something new.
Yeah.
And that I've probably considered, but I think that was a big exclamation point on so are we always trying to consider always the things next before we're actually finishing? Or have we put a period? Or are we just what are the ellipses, like the ...
Yeah.
Is there still a continuation, or are we actually going to make it a period exclamation point?
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that I think that in bringing out with that is, how many chapters are you trying to write at one time?
Yeah.
We didn't get into the plate spinner multifaceted part, but and if you're wondering why, maybe that there's a sense of, or a lack of satisfaction going on in the current chapter, are you trying to write too many chapters at once?
Yeah.
It's a great time to storyboard. Take a look at the facets or the multi-layeredness of what's going on currently in your life, and in doing that, be able to draw which parts need attention. Which actually we've talked about prioritization,
right,
and the need of recognizing in which part of season you are, on whether or not. I'm still waiting for elements for the kiln to come in. So this new kiln that I have all staged and ready to go. Now I'm at the part where I'm like, well, shoot, now I need the new elements. I can't fire that thing until I get the new elements. All right, well, but now I'm back to my normal setup. I've got my little mini kiln, and I'm going to just start firing that thing every day I'm in the studio until I get caught up with all my greenware and, and be doing that. It'll go faster when I have the other kiln going. And so, I just bring that in, is that there's transitionary time, you got teardown time, you got setup time, you got cleanup time, and in your life, it's very similar as well. Is are you in a season of cleanup? Did you make some messes that need to be cleaned up? Are you in a season of inspiration. Where you need to sit down and you're like, I'm so less than inspired right now. Buddy of mine who is an avid listener sent me a picture, a selfie pic, or I don't know, maybe it was a Marco Polo thing, and he was at an intersection in the middle of Iowa, and the sun was setting, and just beautiful, picturesque. He goes, this scene is just absolutely inspiring me. And I'm like, hey, you know what? That is a really cool time to be able to reflect and take in and be able to let the things that are influencing you or what's around you bring you to an inspirational point of view. Very cool.
Yeah, it reminded me, we were rewatching Yellowstone.
Oh, nice.
And it was season 3, the beginning of season 3, when that Dan from California, a lot of the issues up front in those first couple of seasons all extended from him, but they were at a point, he came back to John and was like, he's like, I never have, necessarily considered like the skyline, when you're looking at the sun rising and setting here, he's like, it's not something I experience in the city, urban context, in that language. Yeah. Because he's like, when I look around, when I'm in the city, I see more houses and buildings. Yeah. And he's like, and here I actually see the sun rising, setting. Yeah. And he's like, there's so much noise, and here it's quiet. Yeah. And I think that's part of like sometimes what we don't consider is like being able to see the things, because so if I look out my window right now, I see more houses. Right and the trees are big, so we don't get to see a skyline right here unless we drive east towards the lake or if we drive west all the way out to more rural parts of Illinois. Yeah. And so it's, like if you get out of your element, you can see things a little bit, clearer. Yeah. And I think that's where, going back to what we've been talking about in those scenes, sometimes you got to be able to see things from a different perspective. Yeah. And it really is the joy of finding people, creating community that allows for discussion to occur and connectivity, and when we were driving out to South Dakota, we were driving towards a sunset at one point, and I had mentioned to Amy, I'm like, this is one of the first times in a long time we've seen the sunset. Now we see pink skies, we see the sun going down, but you see the element of it.
Yeah, but the actual setting sun. And quite frankly, the sun rising, I could, in a 3-minute drive, be able to be there to see the sun come up. But, that's early in the morning, and I don't make that a priority. Right. But, whether it's being out in nature, whether it, like, what is it? Get your pen out and get active. Start documenting some of these things and writing this stuff down and being able to see it for other reflection. But we talk about, we do kind of a conspiracy wrap up a little bit and then
added a new conspiracy just so you.
And I would love the only thing that I would say. That might be the hook for people to be able to come into listening all the way through this episode, which isn't terribly long. It's on average, it's like an hour and 20 minutes or whatever. Or fast forward to about minute 40. You'll get through our dark, frivolous, sarcastic conversation and moving into something more sublime. To ask the question about your season, are you a human being or are you a human doing? And understand that it's not our goal to create a dualistic mentality toward that or create more tribalism within humanity about it. Yeah. But a recognition of that in the strength of youth, doing is easier than in the waning of years of wisdom. Mm-hmm. And so there's shifts that occur, and that's why I'm a firm believer in multi-generationalism. I love being surrounded by the generations who have come after me, as well as being around. One of my favorite people in the world is a man in his 80s, and absolutely fantastic in the exchange. You know, there's great value, and I hope to be that person of value as I continue to grow. Now, folks who are in their 70s or 80s are like, dude, you don't even know. And I'm like, you're right.
You don't.
I don't. And I'm cool with not knowing yet.
Right.
But, I mean, the reality is.
But you also recognize a place where you'd like to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be a person of value.
Yeah.
Which to me is already a goal. Like, it's a vision. It's something to be able to set before you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does it take to get there?
Yeah. Yeah. And how much of my life am I willing to trade to be it?
Right.
That'll make more sense when you listen to the episode, folks.
Right.
But apparently, solitude and isolation have led me to a place that when I talk for over an hour,
Yeah.
it wears out my vocal cords. I mean, like, I'm feeling it in my throat, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about it the other day. I was singing a song during worship with the team as a congregationalist, as a person who was a participant in congregational worship. And as we were going through the one song, I was like, holy cow. I'm like, man, I just need to get more in the practice of doing this because I haven't sung for so long.
Yeah.
And I used to sing like 6 hours a week.
Yeah.
You know? And so then, like, when after one song, my throat's feeling it, I'm like, oh my gosh. And now it's showing up here too. I'm like, this is how much I'm not talking.
Right.
I do a lot, you know, and it's funny because, again, in my early 20s, I had this old preacher, he's in his 70s, he's like, dude, you need to use your ears to your mouth in ratio. Listen twice as much as you talk. Like, you talk too much, you know, and on the flip side, I feel like I moved into this place where, now, I am proof for fodder. I will fill up the airwaves for our podcast. But, yeah, me, I'm like, so many words. How come people have so many words? My ears are tired of hearing all the words.
Lots of words. There is lots. Yeah. There's lots of words.
Yep.
Speech.
Yep.
What are we filling the air with?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so how are your memories in air freshener? How do they lift your spirit?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And that's a good question to lead into Sunday. So
Yeah. Should be good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a holiday weekend.
Right.
So everybody,
Labor Day.
Be preemptive. Don't do things that would hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And but enjoy the time that you get to, maybe it's roast a hot dog.
Mm.
I
won't
did
be
see
roasting any hot dogs.
I did see David Crowder
Yeah.
took
I saw that too. I knew what you were going to Yeah.
he took these is it Little Caesars?
No, Olive Garden.
Olive Garden's breadsticks.
Mm-hmm.
Sliced it and put a hot dog in it and said, "This is a game changer."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hashtag my people.
Right. Yeah, and I've never considered that. One, because I don't eat hot dogs anymore, but yeah, but even before that, when I did eat hot dogs, I guess I'd never considered that before. So,
oh man, I love hot dogs. There's a special brand. It's pretty much a Vienna brand here in Chicagoland, and I did something with a hot dog the other day that was absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah.
So I got a hot plate in the studio, so I had the frying pan up and hot, and I just take the dogs out of the freezer and put them in there, put the top on low or medium, and let them cook. And then when I smell the food, I know it's getting ready, right? Pulled out the A1 steak sauce on hot dogs.
How'd that go?
Talk about a poor man's steak.
Well, I mean, it's probably parts of steak.
I mean, it's everything but the squeal.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, I'm like, why have I never done this before? It makes my mouth water. That's how much I love A1. Is it just makes my mouth water.
Wow.
I've been on a over easy egg kick this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I like over easy.
Yeah.
Put it on some hash browns.
I had hash browns on Monday and I ran out on Tuesday.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Well, as we head into the fall season, we're just going to let people know. Yeah, write some stuff down. Send us some emails. Tell us what you're working on. Do a watch party. Be like, hey, and we did use a disclaimer that in the first 40 minutes, there's none of that you want to use as actual conversation around a table where the people who are around the table matter to you.
Unless it's conspiracy theory. Because there is some of that talk.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how anyone can say anything and it can come out and be debunked. Like there's a way to prove that whatever they're saying isn't correct.
Right.
And like, well, what about this? They're feeding you information that isn't correct. Well, none of the information's correct. Why do you think this is a reality? I would just point you, if you really need to know what's going on, go watch Matrix, the first episode, and that will explain to you all of reality.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true.
Which pill?
Have you ever questioned the nature of your reality?
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
That's a good question to ask, too.
Yeah.
Have you ever questioned the nature of your reality?
No, but when I sit and talk to the squirrels, they question my nature. Not their reality. A really cool thing that happened last night, I was taking the garbage out and the sun was starting to set. Yeah. The effect, I could see the effects of a setting sun.
Mm-hmm.
There was a mass quantity of dragonflies hovering and flying, and I could watch them, and they were just zipping all over the place. I'm going to watch that tonight, too.
So what were they hovering around? I mean, I don't know.
Oh, they were just flying.
Oh, they're just out.
They were out. I don't know if, like, smaller bugs that they eat, like they were scooping down on them like a barn swallow or what was going on. But, yeah, it was really cool. I mean, because if you're at the beach or you're somewhere around, nature, whatever, you can see a dragon. Like, a dragonfly might pass, but I've only seen this, like, twice in my life where, like, there is a mass of dragonflies.
Because they like water, right? I mean, isn't that...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I typically would see a dragonfly, like, growing up near a pond or, like if I was at the quarry or something like that.
Yeah. It's fun.
Take a look around.
Dragonflies.
What do you see on your horizon? Yeah. So, working with some positive memory reinforcement, working on discovery. Are there things that have been passed down in tragedy or trauma that you're not aware of?
Lots of things to consider this week.
Yeah. All right,
everybody. So hopefully you enjoy the rest of your weekend and that you're prepared to be able to receive the good information that comes out on Sunday, and you have you have time to be able to listen to it.
Yeah, enjoy that holiday weekend. You get the extra day.
Right.
And just know the clock is ticking and the time is coming. Since no one's passed any law about daylight savings time and everything like that going on, the time's getting closer when you're going to lose an hour.
Right. Fall back.
Quit stealing my time.
Quit stealing.
I don't want the thief to steal my time.
Right.
pretty sure I've shortchanged myself on that a couple times.
I'm sure.
All right.
All right, everybody. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Happy Labor Day.
Happy